Hindu mythological wars are the wars described in the Hindu texts of ancient India. These wars depicted both mortals of great prowess as well as deities and supernatural beings, often wielding supernatural weapons of great power. Hindu teachings prescribe war as the final option, to be employed only after all peaceful methods are exhausted. Participation in righteous war, or dharmayuddha, was said to be honorable and was a principal duty of the kshatriya or the warrior varna, and victory in such wars was regarded as a matter of honor. The central battle in the Vedas is between Indra and Vritra, and the defeat of the demon Vritra leads to the liberation of rivers, cattle, and Ishas. Ashvamedha, the famous horse sacrifice, was conducted by allowing a horse to roam freely for a slated period of time, with the king performing the sacrifice laying claim to all the lands it touched. The king whose authority is contested must prove himself in battle or accept the imperial supremacy of the challenging king. When the horse returns safely after the period of time, the main sacrifice is performed, and the king, if successful in obtaining dominance over other kings, is crowned emperor of the world. The Ashvamedha allows the opportunity to maintain peace if the kings do not choose to contest the sacrificial horse. Rajaswaya, considered the ultimate sacrifice, the king performing the sacrifice must openly challenge every king in the world to accept his supremacy or defeat him in battle. If and when the king returns successfully, having beaten all other known rulers, the performance of the sacrifice will send him to the abode of Indra after death. Vishvajit Yagna, a sacrifice performed by Brahmins after a king had won a war. The perennial battle between the Devas and Asuras is undertaken over the dominion of the three worlds, Svarga, Bhumi, and Patala, heaven, earth, and the underworld. Both races are technically equal, possessors of great religious and martial powers, but the Devas are committed to the worship of the Supreme Being and the practice of virtue. The Asuras have atheistic and devious tendencies that grow over time. The divide is the greatest in the Kali Yuga, the final age. In the Varhakalpa, 12 battles between the Devas and the Asuras are described in the Brahmanda Purana. Narasimha and Hiranyakashipu, Vamana and Mahabali, Varha and Hiranyaksha, Samudramanthana, the churning of the ocean, Tarkamaya war, Soma and Brihaspati. Adabaka, according to the Devi Bhagavata Purana, the king Harishchandra promised before to Varuna that he would celebrate for his propitiation the great Naramada sacrifice, when he would offer his own son as a victim to be immolated to cure himself of his disease. When he had second thoughts, the Guru Vasishtha suggested that he sacrifice a Brahmin boy instead, and the king acquired a boy called Sunasifa for the deed. Vishvamitra urged him to release the innocent child, and when the king refused, taught him a mantram of Varuna, which often invoked, freed him. Vasishtha cursed Vishvamitra to be born in his next birth as a baka, and the latter cursed the former to take birth as an adi. The crane Visvamitra built its nest on the top of a tree on the Manasaravara lake and began to live there. Vasistha, too, assumed the form of an adi bird, and built his nest on the top of another tree and lived there. Thus the two rishis spent their days in full enmity towards each other. These two birds used to shriek so terribly loud that they became a nuisance to all, and they fought daily with each other. Brahma then freed them from these curses, and the gurus returned to their ashrams. Tripura, Tripurasura and Shiva. Andhakara, Andhaka and Shiva. Vaha, in the battle called Dvaha, the Danava Viprasiddhi, described as the terror of the celestials, adept in the art of Maya and a being who threatened the three worlds, was killed by Indra after penetrating 100,000 Dvahas. Varda, the Asura Vritra and Indra. Hala Hala, according to the Devi Bhagavata Purana, the Hala Halas were a sect of Asuras who were the first creation of the Trimurtis, when they also possessed the power of creation. The Hala Halas, who became very powerful within a short period of time, earned from Brahma all the boons they wanted, and they then conquered the three worlds. At last, they barricaded Kailasa and Vaikuntha as well, so Vishnu and Shiva defeated them after a fierce fight lasting for 1,000 years. The deities returned to their abodes and spoke about their achievements. their wives laughed at the bravado of their husbands. At this Vishnu got angry with Lakshmi and Shiva with Parvati, and in protest the Devis left their husbands. From that day onwards, Vishnu and Shiva began losing their power. Brahma, who divined the reason for the growing weakness of Vishnu and Shiva, persuaded Lakshmi and Parvati to return to their rightful places and support their husbands. Yet, Brahma told them that in future he alone would handle the work of creation. Thus were Vishnu and Shiva divested of their right to creation. Kolahala, according to the Padma Purana, Kolahala was a famous Asura. In the battle between the Devas and the Asuras carried on by Subrahmanya, this Asura confronted Malayavan and was killed. The end of the world is prophesied to happen at the end of the Kali Yuga, the final stage of the world, and the last of the 4 stages. Kalki, the final avatar of Vishnu, is also prophesied to appear the end of the Kali Yuga, to wage the final battle between good and evil, bringing end of the world and start of new world. Shiva Natraja, the destroyer, kills the paramount demon of ego and performs the Tandava Nritya, the dance of Tandava, on his back, ending with the destruction of the universe performing Rudra Tandava. In Shaktism, the mystical dance by goddess Kali, the terrifying form of Parvati, Shiva's consort, that is, dark energy for destroying all forms of matter, materials, beings, and illusions, which are absorbed within herself, i.e. the Supreme Brahman.